Good evening, my degenerate crypto friends. How you doing today? I'm doing great. The news of the day is that Donald Trump came out against the banks on Truth Social, told them to get their act together, and the market is pumping. Some people say it's pumping because the Clarity Act might be closer to being done. Other people say it's because there's supposedly ceasefire or some kind of agreement being made with the U.S. and Iran. Who knows the real reason? We don't know. The only important thing is that it's happening. It's quite amazing that crypto was dumping, and then we got into a war and it started going up. That's crypto for you. You really don't know what to expect. So let's take a look at the news here. We got Eric Trump saying, the big banks, the very institutions that have held a monopoly and screwed their customers for years, offering near zero yields on retail money markets accounts, which is true. And it's been the same in Europe and Spain, it's exactly the same. While crushing low balance accounts with exorbitant fees, are now doing everything they can to block the crypto industry from offering real benefits, perks, and rewards in their platforms. They are the greatest hypocrites are in mass panic, given they know they are losing the digital finance race. This is 100% true. When I was little, banks paid a lot of interest. And now they pay almost no interest. They always have their excuses. And they charge you a lot of fees. Now, you can get like an online account that doesn't charge many fees. But even like in Europe, ING, Direct, you even have to pay fees on those accounts unless you have like some kind of self-employed account where you guarantee a minimum payment every month or something. But even the online accounts, they're charging fees now. So Eric Trump is totally right. For those of you who are not following, the Trumps were debanked. Eric Trump wrote a whole book about it. I did not read it. But over politics, the Trumps were debanked. The Trump organization was debanked. Their banks basically said, we're not going to give you money to do your payroll. They had to pay thousands of employees, or at least hundreds. I don't know how many they have. And like the bank was like, no, we're not giving you money more. We're not financing anything. We're not. And this was all over politics, because in the first term, everybody who was against Trump was very vocal. And the people that were for Trump or supporting Trump were scared to speak. It was like the loud left was bullying everyone into, like they were afraid to talk about it. They were afraid to support Trump because they were called a racist, this and that, all this nonsense. Now over time, things have changed. It's clear that a lot of people support Trump because he won again the presidency, and people are no longer afraid to support him. A lot more famous people have come out supporting him. Businesses have come out not only supporting him but working with him, and pretty much people just accept him as he is. He's not presidential in his behavior and the way sometimes he says stuff, but he gets a lot done, and he's a problem solver. And you can like him or hate him. I like him a lot, but yeah. So they were debanked. So basically, every bank screwed them, and that's when I think the kids, especially Eric Trump and Don Jr., they were like, screw the banks. We get in power again. We're going pro-crypto 100%. And so that's exactly what happened. Trump came in. He said, I'm going to be pro-crypto. Now, he launched his meme coin that people didn't like. But at that time, he was 100% clear about his intentions. 100% clear. He did not blindside anyone. Anybody could have launched a crypto token at that time and made money if people wanted to buy it. His children launched they have a Bitcoin mining company, and then they have the World Liberty Financial or whatever it's called. So, and people don't like that. Maybe they could have waited a little bit. I don't know. But like I said, this is just a normal business. The policy was clear from the beginning. And I think this is a great thing for crypto because they have skin in the game, big time. They have skin in the game. Trump is obviously going to keep supporting crypto. So Trump came out on Truth Social and he said this. He said exactly what every retail investor who is following the news, who is following the Clarity Act drama, he's saying exactly what everyone is thinking Donald Trump is. Now remember, this man was debanked, so he's not happy with the banks. The Genius Act is being threatened and undermined by the banks, and that is unacceptable. We are not going to allow it. The U.S. needs to get market structure done ASAP. Americans should earn more money on their money. The banks are hitting record profits, and we are not going to allow them to undermine our powerful crypto agenda that will end up going to China and other countries if we don't get the Clarity Act taken care of. The Genius Act was USA's first big step to make the United States the crypto capital of the world, and getting the Clarity Act done is the next step to finish the job. Yeah, so the Genius Act was about stablecoins, right? And that was passed. And so the Clarity Act is about how you're going to regulate all crypto, okay? So the Clarity Act done is the next step to finish the job and most importantly, keep this big and powerful industry in our country. The banks should not be trying to undercut the Genius Act or hold the Clarity Act hostage. They need to make a good deal with the crypto industry because that's what's in best interest of American people. The industry cannot be taken from the people of America when it is so close to become truly successful. Thank you for attention in this matter. So yeah, the whole issue is that banks don't want stable coins to pay interest. You know, if you follow crypto, obviously you know this. The banks don't want competition. The banks aren't paying squat for interest on normal bank accounts. And crypto, you can get like maybe 4 or 5, maybe even more % off stable coins. So it's like you're holding your dollars in crypto, you're getting a 4 to 5% interest. I personally am not doing this right now because I don't have a ton of money. I don't want to have like everything in crypto because, you know, there's maybe some small risks of being hacked or something happening. You don't have all the protections as you do when you have cash in the bank. So, but I am thinking of starting to move some money, at least on reliable places. You always want to go with reliable places, you know, like Binance or maybe Coinbase. I don't know what they're offering at Coinbase, but you don't want to go to these new platforms that can't necessarily be trusted. If there's a big drop in the market, they don't have liquidity, you might lose your money. So you got to be very careful who you leave your crypto with for interest payments. But this is awesome, you know, Trump coming out and actually calling out the banks. The banks want to be protected. They want to be protected. They don't want to allow crypto to take their customers, to take their easy money. Now, if you're a bank, you could just come out with your own stablecoin. You don't like crypto companies offering stablecoins, will come out with your own stablecoin and offer the same amount of interest. They can do that, but they don't want to. They're lazy. They don't want to adapt. They don't want to innovate. But you gotta roll with the times. So they're saying that Trump had a private meeting with crypto executives to pass the structured market bill. He did this while the war in Iran is going on. And it is kind of weird because I was thinking, wow, like we're right in the middle of this bombing of Iran. That's got to be the first thing on his mind. But in the middle of all this, he comes out and he makes this post about crypto, which is actually quite awesome. Because all these people are bitching and whining that Trump's not coming through. All this. I mean, I'm so done with that. I'm so sick of people and their bullshit about Trump not being good for crypto. It's total nonsense. Buy crypto while it's cheap. It's not going to be cheap much longer. Trump met privately with Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong before criticizing banks over a stalled crypto bill. I don't know if this is true, but that's great. Apparently he talked to this dude and he was like, okay, I'm fed up. And then people are like, why are banks saying whether this bill can be passed or not? Apparently, my understanding is that since all the people in Congress are bought and paid for by special interests, they finance their campaigns, and I don't know, they make money off these people, so they have to do what they say. So they got to do what the banks say, and they're not gonna. It's just corruption. They're not gonna do what's right. They're gonna do what they're told, basically. Maybe with pressure from Trump, we'll get this done. I don't know. Senator Loomis just announced live on CNBC that all banks will now be able to offer Bitcoin. Trillions will flow into crypto. So yeah, this is what we've been talking about all this time. Adoption, tons and tons of adoption. And people are selling. People are not following what's going on. It's just the dumbest thing that you could do right now. Charles Hoskinson says, I was in the room for 3 years. He was talking to regulators for 3 years. 137 amendments later, they stripped out developer protection, made everything a security by default, and because it looks like XRP and Cardano may get a pass and be grandfathered in, we have to pass a trash bill. So he's saying that the bill is not good. Charles does not like the fact that every new crypto project will be overseen by the SEC, as if it were like any security. He doesn't want crypto to be considered a security, because in the Clarity Act, it's like first you're a security until you become bigger and more secure, less risky for investors. Then you become a commodity and you're governed by the commodity, whatever their name is, that governs that. And apparently he doesn't like that. I don't know if that's, it sounds reasonable to me if a crypto is new. Crypto is risky. Facts are facts. Kraken became the first digital asset company to gain direct access to the American payment system. Digital payments for all are the way forward, not a CBDC. CBDC, if you don't know, it's a government-controlled crypto, like the dollar, government dollar, and they could track everything you do if you're using government dollars. And it's considered a system of control. That's why people don't want it. So billionaire 𝗃𝗶𝗁𝗃𝗵, I have no idea how to spell that, just dropped a massive warning. There are structural flaws in Bitcoin. Bitcoin lacks fungibility and privacy. It can never be a holding of a central bank. This is something similar to what Ray Dalio said. It's true, there's no privacy. There's definitely no privacy. But, it's got lots of great qualities that other things don't have. So there's good and there's bad, and you don't need to hold just one thing. Hold lots of, hold different assets. A little bit of diversification. Be strong in one thing, but, diversify. So Kraken gains access to the Fed's payment system. Trump openly berates the banks to get Clarity passed. This would have blown the expectations of even the most bullish evangelist of 2017 out of the water. Crazy how many people in crypto are giving up on the eve of victory. Dude, it's just nonsense. People just don't know what's going on. If you know what's going on, you are not selling right now. You are buying. Because it's just, this is opportunity time, people. This is opportunity time. Elon Musk, so Tesla economics, say that people don't truly understand what's about to happen with X money. X money is going to come out. It says Elon is going back to his roots. Elon was one of the founders of PayPal. That's how he started making money. And then he sold his shares or his part of it, whatever, and he went on to do Tesla and SpaceX and whatever, right? Now he's going to set up X money. People are going to be able to do stuff with money on X. That's going to be crypto. They're going to be using crypto on X. That's going to be big, big, big for crypto. I can't wait to see it. It's going to be exciting. Benjamin Cowan says, I swear it feels like we live in a simulation. Same playbook as 2022. Bitcoin sells off during the start of a new conflict, finds a low in February, and then bounces into March. Well, we'll see. But yeah, it's crazy. It just falls and falls for no reason at all. And then we get into a war, which is supposed to be a time of people running to security, and then people start buying crypto. Not just Bitcoin, they're buying everything. Market futures and crypto markets pumping on rumors that a deal between Iran and the United States is in the works. If true, that was fast. Yeah, who knows? Who knows why it's pumping? It's going up, and that's a good thing. We got to start going up. We can't keep going down forever. Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong says the foundations for crypto have never been stronger. That's 100% correct. 100% correct. Adoption, tokenization, big institutions, banks, everyone's coming in, and they are definitely going to pump our bags sooner or later. So you need to front run them and buy before they do. Not financial advice, of course. Michael Saylor promised several years ago that anyone who bought into Bitcoin would get unbelievably rich. He claimed the entire system was impending collapse and that Bitcoin was like a black hole that all money would eventually flow into. It's been over 5 years and he's sitting at over $7 billion in losses and will soon be forced to liquidate. I don't think he's going to be forced to liquidate. And we just need Bitcoin to go back up a little bit, and then he's going to be in huge profit. Now, Michael Saylor is very stubborn, and he has a lot of convictions, so it doesn't seem like he plans on selling any Bitcoin. But he could, when he's in profit, is sell a little bit. Take a 2, 3, 4 billion in profit. Or maybe when it goes way back up, take some profit. Then he would have profit. basically. But he believes in Bitcoin so much, he would rather hold the Bitcoin than dollars. He'd rather hold the Bitcoin. That's conviction. Gold is dumping, silver is dumping, silver is dumping, stocks are crashing, Bitcoin is pumping. So before it was the opposite. Everything else was pumping and Bitcoin was dumping. Yes, assets rotate, people. Assets rotate. One is down, other one is up. Although when there's inflation, everything goes up. But when gold was going crazy and silver was going crazy, everyone's like, oh, we got to dump crypto and we got to go into these assets. And I'm thinking, no, now is when we got to buy crypto. We buy it when nobody wants it. It's just common sense, people. It's common sense. And what people do is, it doesn't make sense. People think when something goes down, it's going to go down forever. And that's just not the way it is. Unless it's not something that's going to come back. You're investing in the wrong thing. So there was a survey on CNN, and it said, would you invest in Bitcoin with over 20,000 votes? So 86% said no, 14% said yes. So apparently 86% of America is not going to make it. Anyways, well, that's it for today, people. It was a good day. We had the markets recovering. We need to recover someday. We can't keep having great basement bargain prices. And hopefully this bombing will end soon. And my personal take on this is I'm not a big fan of war, and I don't like war at all. But if the Iranian people get some freedom out of this, then it's not a terrible thing. But I would hate to see all this, all this violence, all this war, all this bombing, and the people don't get a good government, and the women don't get their freedom, and that would kind of suck. So I hope that doesn't happen. But anyways, that has nothing to do with crypto. Have a great day. Have a great evening. Enjoy your life. Enjoy your family. Be happy, and I'll see you tomorrow. All 2 of you that are watching.